Happy Sunday. I'm broadcasting this on my personal Facebook page as well, because I'm trying to reach, frankly, people who look, act, and run in the same circles that I do, people like me. I really don't have the right to speak to anyone else. Specifically, I'm speaking to all of the people who are frantically refreshing the blog over at 538, waiting for the latest set of predictions from Nate Silver, because that's how you calm your anxiety. I'm speaking to all the people who are counting down till the next episode of John Oliver, because he makes you feel seen and a little bit less anxious, just to know that someone on the television is as bothered by things as you are. I'm talking to everyone who can't wait for this to be over, who somehow think that everything's going to be okay or normal on Wednesday or Thursday or on the 20th or whenever. Newsflash. This is what's going to happen. Let me back up a little bit, though. What right do I have to talk about this? None. I'm a grown woman who read Little Women a long time ago and cried. I hated that book. I still hate that book. I hate that book so much. I know I'm not supposed to say that in front of other women because that book makes them feel seen. What I hate specifically about that book is Marmee, their mom, because to me, that whole book was about her, even though she's barely quoted in it. It's a mother who raises her daughters to be strong, fierce, and independent, and then sends them off into the world with no options better than the one she had when she got pregnant with each of them. And that to me was a chilling and horrifying thought. And that today I still feel very deeply. I want better for my daughters. I want better for my son. And I look in the mirror every day at having to acknowledge that the source of my power, the source of any stability I have right now is my marriage to a very economically privileged white man. We live in a society by design where stability is fleeting. You can make it all overnight and lose it all overnight. But somehow nothing really changes, not on a systemic level, not on an institutional level. And I really want to end my life being a little bit more than Marmee and Little Women. I want my kids to know actual safety. I want them to have fewer concerns than I do. I want to be able to end my life knowing that they will be taken care of, and not because we managed to sock away 20, 50, 100 million. How much money does it take to ensure safety these days? I don't know. I'm pretty sure we won't even be able to pay for any of ours to go to college at the rate of inflation currently on a college education. More than that, I want safety for all children, especially Black children. And that's not going to come on Tuesday or Wednesday, y'all. It's not going to change because of a vote that happens once every 4 years. As a matter of fact, civic duty is not voting once every 4 years. It's holding your electeds accountable. And people like me haven't been doing that in between election cycles. We will shame the bejesus out of each other. Did you vote? Did you? Well, then you don't have the right to be in this conversation because you didn't vote. Without taking a look at what the options are and who is being left behind and what's not working. And we shut down anything that's outside of our own narrative, regardless of how limited our own life experience or our own narrative may be, which is the reckoning that's been happening in this country with the Black Lives Matter movement. You see, the reason that people like me don't speak up enough, that we don't show up enough, is because we do not experience the criminal justice system, the system of that we still have to figure out what it is. We don't see it because we don't experience it. We need Black people to explain it to us because it's not obvious. And that's just insulting. The people right now who see it, who get it, who understand it, they're the ones protesting this system because they've experienced it. And that in and of itself invalidates their voice. The fact that they have been through or in or tangled with the criminal justice system that targeted them, and not specifically because they necessarily did something wrong. A system that threatens their own safety and the safety of their children, no matter what they do. And there's nothing that they can stockpile to change that. So I tell you that to tell you this. I am not the only person who is tired of having this conversation. I am begging you. If you've got a Black Lives Matter sign in your yard, if you are really excited about John Oliver, if you just think that you'll be able to exhale on Wednesday, I am begging you, show up to the next city council meeting in Denver. That's Monday night. When we talk about defunding the police and making things safer, and I'm really glad to hear, Johnson, that everybody wants that. I hope that's the case. Anyone who thinks that, please meet us at City Council, because defunding the police is literally a policy that we need to push for. It's one that can be made at the local level, because that's how police are funded, mostly at the local level. We're going to be protesting the rubber stamping of the city budget, which has been happening, by the way, for eons here in Denver, because the mayor has way too much power. We're going to be pushing for anyone who cares. Please show up. Speak for the voiceless, for the unhoused, who can't get their stimulus checks, who need more than that to get back on their feet from a society that only wants to pay police officers to criminalize them for being poor and sweep them around the city in the middle of a pandemic and an economic recession. It makes no sense. We're not coming up with solutions. And the people who understand the problems the most are not just done talking about it. They're the least likely to be listened to. And that's where we come in. Get that sign out your yard. Cast your vote. Yes, it's important. That's really nice. But show up. For Christ's sake. Show up. I know you're looking at a lot and thinking, man, that's kind of scary. Look at those people who might be carrying guns. This is what the movement's about. There are people experiencing that every single day. And we are less likely to experience it. So please, again, we don't want all the police gone all at once. We're not trying to topple the government all at once. What we are saying is, let's take that 50% of the budget of the city of Denver is going to the police. We could take a fraction of that and actually address and solve some problems. That's all we want to do. We want to divest. We want to invest. We want to do really responsible things. I know you know what all these words mean. Please join me at City Council. We're going to be making things for the homeless. We're going to be fussing at City Council for wasting our tax dollars, which, by the way, taxes are supposed to be the investment that we make in our society, in our communities, in the schools, and in our neighborhoods where we live. They are failing us on that duty. They are wasting our money. They are wasting my time by making me have this conversation and show up in these different ways. It's a lot. And yes, it'd be very easy for you on Tuesday to watch the returns come in and say, great, everything's going to be fine now, but it's not true. It's not true. We're at a turning point. You know as well as I do, nothing's going to be fine. One thing you can do is flex. And if you look like me, you have the same level of privilege that I do, I'm begging you to show up and flex on a local level regularly and frequently. Weekly if you can, whenever you can, but please, more than once every 4 years. Please. Got a long ways to go. And hopefully I won't have to do very many of these between now and then, because I don't like it either. But there we go. Have a good night. Cast your vote. And if you're concerned at all about the ballot initiatives numbered to A through G in the city of Denver, what all of those seek to do is take power away from the mayor, which is what we want to do. He doesn't have any oversight, you guys. I know that sounds a little scary, but what's scarier is a dictator. So if you think Trump's a dictator and you're complaining a whole lot, then we need to look at what we do to the mayor. At least be consistent, y'all. Have a good one.